Hello, good morning. My name is Jess, and today we're going to be making together a Fizzing Fairy Bath Dust. And this is very similar to a bath bomb, but instead of a solid form like a bath bomb is, it will be like a fine dust that you can pour into a bottle or a little bag and pour into the bath. So come with me and I will teach you everything that you need to know about making Fizzing Fairy Bath Dust. The equipment that you're going to need today is very basic. I'm going to use a precision scale and a small beaker to measure out my fragrance or essential oils. In this case, I'm going to use essential oils. I'm going to need another larger scale, a bowl that will fit on my scale, a spoon to mix, and then I'm going to get some ingredients out now. Always have a little spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol in hand, so that you can spray down your utensils and everything you're using so that you have a nice, clean, sanitized workspace. Always spray down the inside of your bowls, your spoons, your beakers, whatever you're using, and then wipe them down with a clean piece of paper towel, just like that. And then spray the inside of your beakers and everything that you're going to be using your ingredients in, get it nice and clean. Next, we're going to go over the ingredient list. For the ingredients that we're going to need today, we're going to use citric acid, bicarb, some yogurt powder. If you have milk powder, that would work as well. And we're going to use some essential oils. So I've got lavender, ylang ylang, and sweet orange. And you can substitute the essential oils for whatever fragrance oil you would like to use, if you'd like to use a fragrance oil, or different blends of essential oils as well. I have very large containers of these, so I just scooped out some small ones to show you. So get your ingredients together and then get your supplies out, and I'll show you how to make them now. Let's begin with turning our scale on and having our bowl on top of our scale with it tiered, which means that the scale is reading 0 with your bowl on top of it. Let's measure into the bowl now 200 grams of bicarbonate soda, or baking soda if you are from the US or North America. And you can do this into a sieve if you want to. Maybe I should have, because there's a lot of lumps in this. But I'm going to just use my spoon to flatten out the lumps. As long as you get rid of the lumps, this is fine. You know, if you want to use a sieve and do it that way, you can do it that way. It's probably easier, but I just have to grab. You're going to weigh it into your bowl, 200 grams of bicarb. Tare your scale again, and then you're going to take your citric acid and weigh into your bowl 100 grams. So if you tare your scale in between each ingredient, you should have no problems mixing them all together like this into one bowl. But if this scares you, do each ingredient into separate bowls and then pour them in together. Again, tearing in between each ingredient, I'm going to now add my powdered milk. And I'm going to add 50 grams of powdered milk to this. And again, I should have done this into a sieve, but I didn't, and I will deal with the lumps in a minute. So 50 grams into here. And if you don't like the idea of being very precise with your bag open like this, then do this into a separate bowl and then pour them all together and mix them that way. Putting your bowl and your large scale aside just for a moment, we're going to take out our precision scale now with our small beaker on it. Turn it on, and we're going to weigh in our essential oils now into the small beaker. And we're going to, in this case, we're going to do 0.3 grams of ylang ylang, if you wanted to make a bigger batch of this, you would simply take the measurements I'm giving you and times them by the amount that you would like to make it bigger. So if you would like to double the recipe, instead of adding 0.3 grams, you would add 0.6 grams of essential oils. And same with the other ingredients in between the essential oils, you're going to tare the scale to 0 before you add the next ingredient. I'm going to add 0.2 grams of lavender essential oil to my beaker. And then I'm going to add 0.5 grams of mandarin or sweet orange essential oil. On my sheet I have written down mandarin, but I'm using sweet orange. If you want to use mandarin, it's totally fine. You can use that. Just use whatever you have in hand, or make your own blend, or try a blend that you've seen that you like. So 0.5 grams of sweet orange essential oil into the beaker. Good. Now just bringing my bowl back without the scale this time. I'm going to now mix it all together, and the first thing that I'm going to do is just push out the clumps of the ingredients. If you don't want to do this pushing the clumps out like that, then use a sieve and put your ingredients through the sieve, and then pour them all together and mix it. That's probably an easier step. I just didn't get one out today. But even with mixing them together, you could do that now. I can show you how I would do that. So I've just got another large clean bowl, and I have sanitized it, and I've got a sieve, and I've also sanitized that. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to take my other bowl with all my mixtures, and I'm just pouring the mixture now into the sieve until it's all in there. Now I have not added my essential oils yet. I will do that after I've done this step. Now what you can do is you can either like shake like you're baking, but I don't want to do that and make all the dust, so I'm simply going to use the back of my spoon and push all the ingredients through the sieve. And you can see in there now how nice and powdery that is. This is actually quicker and a lot easier than I thought it would be. I haven't sped this up. This is how quick this actually has come through. Oh, that's a lot easier to work with. Do it with the sieve. This is much better. And then you just have to deal with your clumps here. I'm going to go see if I can find some tool to make this easier. And then I'll be back in a second and let you know what to do. I've tried out now using this meat tenderizer because it has these metal teeth on it to grab the larger particles, and I'm finding that if I use little teeth to grab at the larger particles and drag them across the metal, something about using the two metal objects is making the particles go through the sieve quite easily. Now, a lot of the citric acid particles are down here, and they're going to be too large of crystals, so just try to get the rest of the, this is yogurt that's still left in here, but just get it down to a size that's workable, that you're happy with, and then just pour it in, because I don't think all the citric acid, these are just larger salt particles of it, and it won't go through. But you can either work it until it's all gone, which will take you a little while, or just get it down to a workable level that you're happy with, and then pour the rest in. And I am pretty happy with how this is going to go, so I'm just going to pour the rest in now. Now, getting my spoon back again, you can see that it really is a lot nicer. So I'm just going to mix this together now a little bit more. And then I'm going to add in my essential oils. And to add in my essential oils, you just take your beaker that you had measured them into, and you're just going to pour it in to here, slowly dribble it in, and then mix it so it's not all clumped together. You don't want big clumps of fragrance in there. And if you're noticing, like, okay, I did this on purpose. See how I poured it there, and then it made like a fragrance clump. Just use the back of your spoon and push it flat, and then mix it together. But you don't want to have clumps like that of fragrance, so just try to sprinkle them around the bowl and then mix it together. Ooh, it smells very nice fragrance. It's a sweet floral, lemon, like orangey, but it has the ylang ylang, which is like super floral and feminine, and the lavender is a nice tone in there as well. And that little amount of essential oil, like me doing this, it is very strong actually. Now this is your Fizzing Fairy Dust. You could be finished right now with it, or you can add some fun things to it, like colors as in like micas, or you can add some dried rose buds or lavender buds or something like that. But this is essentially the Fizzing Fairy Dust finished, and now what we can do is customize it to add our own flair to it. But I will just give you a demo of what it does just as it is right now. So that's what it does. So it works very similar to a bath bomb, and it really fizzes up for quite a while. This would be really fun for a child's bath, or for yourself as well. Anyone really could enjoy this, because you can take this and you can really customize it to have flavors and colors, and it's really nice. It's still fizzing away. Pretty cool stuff. Let's customize this Fizzing Fairy Dust now. I'm going to use some pink mica, and I'm going to pour a little bit into what I have left of my mix, because this is nice, but it's very plain, and you know, with a nice aesthetic, things sell better, or they look nicer. People, you know, humans, we like pretty things. So I'm just gonna take a little spoonful. Now I don't know how much this is. If I was going to make this as a product that I was going to sell again and again, I would want to put this on a scale and find out exactly how much mica I'm adding, so that I can make the same product again and again. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to put a little touch of it in, mix it around, and see how the color looks. If you're going to make a large batch of this, you might want to do the mixing process like this with a mixer on a very low speed. And you can see that that tiny little bit just made a very light color. You can see that the tiny bit of color, it didn't do much at all. It barely turned it pink. So I'm just going to grab another spoonful of mica. Try to get something a bit more vibrant. You could change the colors with this and match it to the fragrance you're making. If you wanted to mix like lime essential oil and orange to make some sort of tropical one, you could do greens or oranges. You really need to use your imagination, and this is where part of making gets fun, where we can create our own things for ourselves and really make something fun. And this is a very light pink now. And if you wanted to add more mica, you just add more. Be aware that too much, you'll never want to get it this bright pink, because that would just make a mess of people's bathtubs. So let's just be conscious of that. But that's what you do to customize it. And if you wanted to add some dried flowers to it, you can mix them right in, or you could put it on top of the product as you were bottling it. That would be nice as well. Or maybe a little bag alongside with some little flowers in it to put in the bath would be nice. I have some little samples. I have little samples up here of little potpourri bags I've made in the past. So maybe this tied to the jar of it would be nice for people to add to their baths. Or you could just do a jar like this, where I have layered in with rose petals and larger pink Himalayan crystals. You could do something like that and use these little spice jars. You really have to just get creative. Don't be afraid to try out new things when you're making products. That's really the fun of making things. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, give me a thumbs up so that I know this is cool and you want some more like this. So take care, have a great day, and happy creating. Bye.